Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, I haven't done a video in a while. Other than the Deccan videos, I've been keeping up on those, which has been challenging at times, but not too bad. We are more than halfway through, and I've been thoroughly enjoying it. So, if you've been following along, thank you so much. It's been quite a journey, and just a really good way to get to know and to even refresh or see the tarot in a different light. So that has still been going on, but my other videos, I haven't had the time to do too much of. It's been a very busy spooky season. Business always amps up this time of year. It's just the way that it is. And so I haven't gotten the opportunity to do too many videos, right? Other than, like I said, the Deccan ones that I've been able to maintain. But this video, I thought I would kind of go a little bit more into the energy and the things that I've been tapping into for October and, now into the beginning weeks of November. I love November just as much as I do October. I absolutely love the month of November. It's the wind down. It's like the calm before the storm, and the storm I'm meaning Christmas, right? And it's just that beautiful getting ready to hibernate and get tucked in feeling, right? Like I love it. We've been outside, like on the days that I've been able to, where I've had free time. I've been outside working in the gardens, getting them ready for winter, tucking everything in. We've moved some plants around. I always do a lot of landscaping and moving of the plants in the fall. I know that we're drawn and driven to do a lot of work in our yard in the spring, but anything you dig up and move in the spring, you have to really spend a lot of time taken care of throughout the whole winter or summer, sorry, so that it doesn't die. So I like to do a lot of my stuff, moving of plants and different things like that in the fall, right? Because then they just go dormant, and then in the spring when they come back to life, they just grow their roots and they're good to go, and they're super happy with it, right? So it's definitely the way that I garden. Now, we're going to touch on a few different things that I've been really drawn to or that I've been working with for this time frame, right? And one of the reasons what has brought that energy forward for me has been this oracle. I know that you're probably seeing it all over the place right now because it's kind of the new thing, right? Um, and I had this on pre-order, but then I ended up taking it off of pre-order, and I decided that I didn't know if I wanted it, and I was like, you know what? I do not need another oracle. So I ended up canceling the pre-order, which I regretted because I absolutely love this little oracle. And I do wish it's 36 cards. I wish that they at least rounded it to the 40. That would have been really nice. However, they chose not to. This deck has, from what I'm gathering, has had production quality issues. Nothing crazy, but still a few issues. My one card right here, you can see, if I can hold the deck a certain way, see how it's got a little bit of like discoloring on the edge there? See it? Because it actually ended up damaged, and the card was split. And so I needed to put some glue in there, put it down, put some weight on it, and wedge it in there, right? And get it to go back together. So that was one of the things that happened. Another thing that happened is, and this is common across the board, is people are getting cards like this where they haven't been cut correct, and you're getting a little bit of a different color on the edge of the black cards, and it's just the black cards. And I have two. This one, which is hardly, I have to take it off so you can see it. Like, I'll put them here so you can see it. Hardly anything, right? Like, just a sliver. This one's a little bit more. I considered taking a marker and coloring it, but I I don't really care. It doesn't really affect it any to me, and half the time I don't even notice it. So I'm okay with it. I have not had any issues with the black gilding. It's not flaking, it's not coming off. I've been working with this now for a couple weeks now, and I haven't had any issues with it. I really like its cardstock. Its texture is really nice. It shuffles, like it's flexible enough that it shuffles well. It snaps back, and it's matted. But the thing is it's not a coated matte. It's the cards themselves. It's whatever the stock is made out of. Um, Into the Lonely Woods has like a coating that makes it matte, and that coating scratches, and then it looks like crap. So this one, whatever the cardstock is, it's just a matted cardstock, and it doesn't scratch off, which I really like. I like a lot about this deck. I'm even with the production quality issues, I'm still really enjoying it. I love the whole hermit card, like the hermit lantern thing happening on the back of this card. It's fantastic. I love its color palette. I know some people might not like the multicolored cards, but to me, like they're working. I like it. I like it a lot. I like the color palette that they chose and what they stuck to. It's very earthy but yet modern at the same time. So like it's working for me on all levels. Now, when I got this deck, I'm still in this mode, but I wanted something witchy. I wanted something to connect into that wild pagan energy that is so strong right now. I'm just going to zoom in so we can look a little bit closer at these cards as I flip them. Um, but yeah, so like I really wanted something that encompassed the way that I was feeling and had the energies of the season, right? And this deck has oodles of it. This deck definitely it did it for me. It's exactly how I'm feeling right now, the energy of right now. And it's been here, like I said, for a little bit, and I've been doing daily polls with it alongside the Seasons of the Witch. So the Seasons of the Witch I've been using for over a month now, and it's like my oracle that, and I'm going to continue to use it up until I replace it with the Yule. And I'm not, if you've watched my channel, I'm not a big huge Season of the Witch person. However, the Samhain and the Yule speak really really strong to me, and I really enjoy spending time with them. The other ones not so much. But so I've been doing my daily polls with the Seasons of the Witch, the Samhain. And then when this one showed up, I wanted to get to know it. I wanted to get to know it, to understand its language, how it's speaking, what it's talking about, how it's talking about it. So I put it into my daily polls as well too. Um and I like its messages. I like how it delivers. I like what it has to say. The interesting thing about it is I find it picks up where Seasons of the Witch leaves off. And I guess I should explain that a little bit better. I like the way these cards read better in a way that it's what I wish the Seasons of the Witch was like, where we've got like a title and then we've got our keywords down below. I do wish these keywords were a little bit of a larger font, but whatever, right? But this is to me the way Seasons of the Witches, like all the decks in the series should have been. A nice title, your number, and a good phrase or keywords that are not weird and written in, old-timey language that's really quite irrelevant right now. But this deck is what I wanted for the Seasons of the Witch. And I think that's why it speaks to me much more clearly. I've had a good time with the Seasons of the Witch. I've bonded really well with it. I'm enjoying it. The other thing I really like, and I'll switch gears pretty fast. Sorry, that was kind of like, but I like the art in this. I like the simplicity. It's almost kind of like block printing, where they carve in the wood and then they stamp it. I believe that's what you call it. But I really like the artwork, and I like just the image and nothing going on around it. I feel like it focuses in, it brings attention to the thing they want you to pay attention to, and it works for me. It works for me a lot. I really enjoy the artwork of this deck a lot. I'm really connected into it. It's my style, 100%. I really do like it. And like I said, I've been enjoying its reading. It's got a lot to say, and it's saying it in a way that I really enjoy. So it's quite a beautiful deck. If this is on your list, don't hesitate to get it. I mean, obviously expect quality control issues because I had a few, and I know it seems like everyone's kind of had a few. But on my deck they were minimal. They were nothing. They were not an issue whatsoever. This was the first card that I pulled the minute I got it and I opened it. I did a fast little pull after I looked at everything, and this was the first card. And I think, honestly, I think it's one of my most favorite cards in the deck. I love the image. This one's really cool too. But yeah, so this is what I've been working with, and I'm going to continue to work with it. I like that some of the images are like grayscale, like black and grayscale, and then others have a little bit of coloring in them. I really like that. Obviously, sticking to the color palette, which works amazing. Like how this one has just a little bit of red in it, right? The apples are red, the ladder's red. There's like, I don't know if those are sleeves or tattoos. I think they're sleeves. So she's got a little bit of red printing on her dress. But they're really nice. We have the elements in it. This was my card for today. Yeah, they're beautiful. And there's not a single image in this deck that I don't like. I like every single card. So that's a bonus too, because that typically doesn't happen. There's usually one or two cards where I don't really care for the artist's depiction or the way they've created the image, and it just doesn't work for me, right? But like this deck, there's not a single one. And it's very, like I said, it's very witchy. It has wonderful, wonderful Wiccan, pagan, whatever you want to say, energy to it. Like, look at how amazing that is. Yeah, I love it. And anything with a crone card, you've got me sold. Like I love crone energy. It's definitely a powerful source to tap into. And like that is one heck of a crone card. Yeah, it's amazing. Absolutely, absolutely stunning. So this deck, when it showed up, I was like, yes, this is exactly how I'm feeling right now. This is the energy. This is where I'm going with my season. This is how I'm spending it. Obviously, I've already put away my Halloween decks, like the really obvious Halloween decks. Those have gone away. So I just had to turn on, and I hit my table, so everything's all over the place. I just had to turn on my overhead lights because we have a storm coming in. So it's going to be a little bit shadowy and different looking, and I'm sorry for that. My apologies, but I have to turn on the overhead light now because it's very dim and gloomy. All right, so this season has brought forth I was really drawn to work with Hesia, which is not a goddess that I typically have worked with. I actually don't think I've ever really worked with her. But the drive of the hearth and home aspect was huge. And I ended up connecting in with her and working with her for this season. And I just spent a lot of time organizing and working on my space, right? I'll talk about it a little bit later on into the video, but I felt very driven to make my cave comfortable for the next 6 months, right? Where the winter season is upon us, it's pretty much here, and I'm going to be stuck inside this building for a long time until March, right? End of March. And so I just felt the need to clean and organize and do a whole lot of stuff, right? But with that hearth and home element that Hessia brings in, it also has pulled me really deep into my pottery. Now, I don't own a kiln, so all of my pottery's like greenware right now, right? And I can't fire it, right? I don't have a kiln. So I can't fire it, I can't do glazes, I can't do anything. So really honestly, I just have tons of greenware sitting around and it's kind of aggravating. But because I can't do pottery myself right now until I get a kiln, it has allowed me to really just support other artists and by their beautiful clay creations, right? So there's a local pottery shop that is very close to us, and me and my husband frequent it quite a bit, kind of once a year, kind of in the fall drive kind of deal. It's not far from us, and it's an amazing studio that kind of does their pottery is fired, but, like, I mean, literally fired. Like, they have a kiln that is wood fed. So, most kilns nowadays are electric or gas, right? So, this is an old school traditional kiln that, like, has to be manned when they're firing 24/7, and there has to be wood fed into it all the time, right? And ashes fall onto the pottery and make different effects and all this different stuff. So it's really quite earthy, very elemental based pottery. And I love going there. So I tend to collect their black series, which is obviously black pottery, and then I also collect their more of like their it's like beigey browns, but I don't have those pieces up here. All of those are downstairs, and I didn't grab them. I just wanted to showcase the black because that is my number one thing that I collect from them. So I ended up grabbing this, and it's gonna be hard to see everything, but I ended up grabbing this dish right here, and I'm gonna put a pillar candle in it for to catch my wax. And let me see if I can get it to focus in up close. And it's just beautiful. There's so much going on in this pottery. You can just get lost in it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then they make these little tiny bowls. And I ended up grabbing 3 of these. They're just little tiny things. I like to put, and this one's like more flat as opposed to like a mixing bowl look. I like to put like little mixes in here. Sometimes when I'm cooking, if I'm using them in the kitchen, I'll put like my salt, my pepper, different spices, and then I can just measure them out and dump them as I need them. When I'm making, like when I'm concocting my ritual burning blends, I will put like my rose petals, my lavender, my copal, like whatever I'm using in each one. And then I kind of have them and I can add them as I want, and they're beautiful. So I ended up getting these 3 little bowls, this to for my pillar candle. I ended up grabbing a garlic keeper, which is so beautiful, and I already got my garlic in it, and it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And I like that it has almost like a sun on the top of it. It's really quite a beautiful piece. So this sits on my counter downstairs on my countertop. And then me and my husband each bought a mug. And I only brought up one because I just didn't want to carry everything else. I had my hands full of other things, right? I didn't want to drop anything. And we each bought a mug to enjoy. And like this is a big mug. Like this is a serious mug. It's huge. It's a massive mug. So we got 2 of these, which are absolutely gorgeous. Well made, beautiful. And like just look at the detail and the coloring, right? And this style of pottery isn't for everybody. Like this is a little old school. It's very traditional to this specific pottery studio. Different artists have different pottery artists have different ways of doing things. So sometimes like this kind of pottery calls to people and sometimes it doesn't. It just depends. This is very elemental, very earthy. Um, touched by nature, right? When they use the kiln, as they put wood in, like I said earlier, ashes and embers and different things, get airborne, and then they suck through the kiln and they land on this pottery, and that's what causes different colors and different textures. And if you can feel like, you can kind of see it here, like it's rough here, like it's not smooth glaze. It's rough, right? So obviously ash had fallen there, but it's created this amazing technique or this effect, right? So very, very beautiful. And while I was there, I ended up grabbing this one too. And the texture of it, I don't know, it's just so interesting. And look at the bottom. And they took their finger and they made it like a swirl. It's so beautiful. Absolutely love it. It's got like a little thumb dent here. It's like hold it like it's like an imprint to hold it. Like it's like my finger is sitting like right in this bump. Like it's really cool. And if I can get it to focus, I don't know if you can see it, but it's all crackled. The glaze is all crackly and you can't really see it, unfortunately. But it's all crackled. It's just beautiful. I don't know. I love pottery. It's so gorgeous working with the earth in this way and all the different elements, right? Fire, water, air, earth, like it's all in pottery. 100%. And then this didn't come from the same place, but in my journeys, we ended up stopping off at like a commercial store, like a big box store, and this was sitting on the shelf, and I couldn't resist it. It was so beautiful, and like look at the detail inside here, just gorgeous. And yeah, so I ended up grabbing this, and I see myself using this at my altar, um, whether it's like something I'm drinking or holding it, like putting water into it and using it to do divination work with, like however, so I don't know, but I'm going to be using it. And the funny thing is this is actually freezer safe, oven safe, dishwasher safe, and microwavable safe. And do not ask me how, but it is. And it's just gorgeous. I can't, obviously you see I have a problem. I can't resist pottery. There's no way. And apparently these darker ones are dishwasher safe. So this is dishwasher safe, and I throw it into the dishwasher. It's already been in the dishwasher several times now, and it's perfectly fine. So I don't know. Really cool, right? But yeah, so that's I've kind of gone that way during this season as well too. Sorry. It was casting a weird shadow. I had to move it. But yeah, so I've spent a lot of time with earth and fire element. It was really coming in strong for me this during the fall season, right? So that's another aspect of kind of what's been going on, my little witchy wonders that I've found and have collected. Okay, like I was saying earlier, I was really drawn to work with Hesia this fall, and she put me to work right away, preparing my home for the winter. So I've worked in my kitchen, ripped everything down, washed everything, scrubbed everything, and I really honestly think it's just because this place is about to turn into my cave, like I said, right? So like I'm just drawn to clean it and organize it and get it ready for the long winter ahead, right? So in this frenzy of organizing and cleaning, I ended up getting into a tote that hadn't really been looked at since we moved here. It didn't really have anything relevant in it. However, I ended up finding my penny nails. So they were all, whatever I put them into, they fell out of, and they were scattered all over the bottom of this tote. So I ended up finding them, and I was really super pumped about that. There's another one right up here in my little display thing. So this is the one I use to carve sigils and different things into candles as I'm doing candle magic. Um, and I believe they're called penny nails. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what they're called. My brother, quite a few years ago, ended up getting a very old house. It's called a block house. It dates like earlier than the 1800s. It actually existed during the War of 1812, and we know that it is older than 1800s. And when he had to do a bunch of structural work to it, there was some things that he needed to rip out, to help the home. And everything that he pulled out, we ended up trying our best to collect these nails from. So I literally had a small garbage bag full of these nails. I had so many, all different sizes, like big, huge spikes to this size. Like I had tons, and I used them over the years in spell jars and different things that I've done, right? And so these are kind of all that I have left. So I got to be a little light on them because they're not so easy to find. I have been looking for them and I wasn't able to find them. Now, this little jar is cute. It came from when my grandma passed away. I ended up inheriting a bunch of things from her home. And this was one of the little jars that I ended up getting. I mean, I got a lot of stuff, but like, I love this little jar. I think it's so cute. It's adorable. But yeah, so I put all my nails in it because I was like, well, now I know where they are and I don't want to lose them again. So got all these back, which was awesome. And right now I'm very much drawn into like casting, doing different things that way, right? Right back into my craft and just spending time doing that whole that whole world. You just have to get them in there right because the longer ones are a little too tall. But yeah, so I got my jar of iron nails happening, which is super awesome, and I'm so glad that I got it back because I couldn't find them. So thank you, Hesia, for putting me on that crazy cleaning binge and I ended up finding my nails, which is awesome. Another thing that I'm going to talk about embracing this whole witchcraft energy is if you follow my channel, you would know that this season for me, or this year, I guess I should say this year for me, not just the season, this year for me has been my animal totem has been the rabbit. And I've had some really interesting interactions and different things coming forward, connecting me to that rabbit energy. I typically connect more to like when I've done journey works and journeying and stuff like that in the past. I tend to connect with like a big brown bear, and that's been my spirit totem or animal for many years. So the whole connection to rabbit has been very unexpected. But it's become very obvious that there's something that lies in the energy of that animal that I am meant to connect with for this year. Now it started with strange interactions with the animals, the rabbits in my yard. I'm sorry, we're gonna have a cat come up. It started with the strange encounters and interactions with a rabbit. And I have a couple rabbits that live in my yard. So it's been stuff with them and just different things. One of the things was this candle. I ended up purchasing this candle. I couldn't leave the store without it. I was so drawn to it that there's like no way I could have left the store without it. And it's really quite beautiful, and it's got a whole bunch of little things in the top. It's got two twin crystals happening. It's got this little grass that's supposed to be like a bunny tail. So yeah, I haven't burned it yet. It's too beautiful. It smells gorgeous. But I'm like one of those people where I need to hold on to my candles when they're beautiful like this unburnt for a long time. And I'll eventually light it and I'll eventually use it. But for right now, I'm just enjoying it. It's really quite beautiful. So the interesting thing is a few months ago I went to a market and one of the vendors had sweatshirts, and I wanted a sweatshirt. Like that's really honestly what I wanted to bring home from that market. And I was looking and looking and looking, and they only had one of my sizes of a sweatshirt left. And on the front of this sweatshirt was this exact logo. And it is not from the same people, it is not from the same anything. And it was in the whole entire rack of sweatshirts, the only one that had this logo on it. And it was the only one that was my size. So that was crazy and weird. The other thing that happened is I got gifted recently a rabbit pelt. Now, I know some people are out there aren't okay with that, and that's okay. But I don't have tons of animal pelts and stuff like that in my house. That's not really my jam. However, this one got gifted to me and it's beautiful. And it's gorgeous. I love it. However, I don't know if it was ethically sourced, and I'm not sure how this creature lived its life, and probably not in a way that none of us want to think about, right? So I decided to do a ritual and to honor it and to kind of cleanse it and to thank it for its pelt. And so I waited for a beautiful night where the moon was pretty full and it was gorgeous out, and the bunnies that live in my yard were out playing in the moonlight, and I went outside with this and I laid it in the grass, and I did a whole ritual just thanking it for its life, thanking it, hoping that it had a good life, and just thanking it for what it was and who it was and what it and for its beautiful pelt and just all those different things. And then I ended up taking a little blend that I had concocted of rose petals, lavender, some dried grass, just some beautiful different elements. I tried to keep it native to my area, and like native plants to my area. And I ended up burning them. And in the smoke, I then cleansed and did a ritual and cleanse the pelt and all of that different stuff. And then once I came in, I felt like I wanted to bring it a little bit further. So I ended up going into one of my books and grabbing it's kind of like a sigil that was in one of the books that I had of a rabbit. And I ended up printing it off onto parchment paper because I have an inkjet printer, and I ended up stamping it. And I should have just left it there because it looked freaking amazing. But it had like some of the areas where the pelt is wrinkled, it didn't take. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll just take like a black pen or marker and kind of like fill it in a little bit more. Well, like one swipe in and I already regretted it, but it was too late then and I had to continue. I liked just the stamped look much better. It looked like a tattoo or like a brand of some sorts. It looked way nicer. This became very dark and very vivid, and it wasn't the whole vibe that I was trying to go for. However, it's on there. It looks fine. But I did wish that I left it. But yeah, so now I have this beautiful little pelt that my kitty cats keep trying to sleep on. And I have to find just a way to incorporate it into the things that I do and what's going on here. I think I'm gonna put it in like on my table display for when we get into more of the winter energy. But yeah, so it was really unexpected. And like that's what I said, like I keep getting gifted these things that are rabbit aligned. So yeah, I guess rabbit is my animal totem for this season. And the thing that I like about this pelt is it's like the perfect size to do just a nice 3 card spread around my cat. And it looks amazing. It looks beautiful. So I think I'm gonna be putting this back up on my altar. That's the other thing. I did put it up on my altar for a while too, to just um, kind of infuse it with the energies that are up in my altar space. Yeah, so that's kind of like the vibe that's been going on here all season, is working with this deck, spending time with animal energy, connecting into beautiful handmade pottery, and just stuff like that, right? So that's been kind of my whole October, November vibe that's been happening. So yeah, just thought I would share that. As this deck very much encompasses like the energy that I am so deep into right now, this time of the year. But anyways, so thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, give me a subscribe. Give me a follow, follow along. I'm not, like I said, I'm not always the best at keeping up on my videos because life gets pretty hectic and crazy around here. However, I do really appreciate it. And I do enjoy doing these when I get the opportunity to do them. For those of you following along with the deck and walk, thank you very much. It's been a ride. It's been a good time. And yeah. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, and get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather while we still have it.